first thing I want to ask is when thinking about conceiving this version of the film, the one that you had to come up with post or you had to come up with slash retool after the death of Chadwick. How do you and the team navigate how the film would, not only honor Chadwick and his legacy, but also use his legacy to continue to build the future of the Black Panther and also continue world building in the MCU as well? I feel like it was a daunting task, probably, to be able to have all this to deal with in the wake of this film coming out.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, I think we me and my collaborators, man, we just took it one step at a time. Um, we set out our goals, and the goals were to make something that was worthy of our time and worthy of the audience's time. This is when we decide we're gonna make another one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we kind of made a list of like what are the things that we need to deliver on, for this to be considered a Black Panther film, and for it to be considered worth doing. You know what I'm saying? And worth having seen. And we knew we wanted to push things forward. We wanted to go deeper with Wakanda, deeper with the characters, and also open the world up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when Chadwick tragically passed away, we were in shock first, man, and oftentimes the body's reaction to shock is to shut down. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what we did. We shut down. We allowed ourselves to think like crazy thoughts, and then let those thoughts pass. You know what I mean? And recalibrate and go through the grieving process. But the grieving process isn't something that you can set on a schedule. You can't say, all right, I'm gonna grieve for 2-3 days, take off from work, and then I'm gonna get back to it. It goes at its own pace. And sometimes there is no pace. You know what I'm saying? Like where you are stays where you are feeling wise is where you're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And but we made the decision to make another film, and to make the best film that we can make. And with that, and I think what that meant was making a decision to not have T'Challa come back as a character, and once we made that decision, we went back to those same goals, bro. You know what I'm saying? We went back to like, what's a Black Panther film? How can we deliver on the audiences? How can we do these? And the film naturally became a film about a lot of things, but really Ramonda and Shuri,
Yeah.
And it became a movie about motherhood now, and it became a coming of age story, and film about maturity and what that means. But also, most importantly, if you're gonna say Wakanda Forever, if you're gonna say this concept, man, Wakanda is gonna go on, like it's been here before all of us, and it's gonna be here after us, then you have to do what comes with that. And what comes with that is when you lose somebody that's important to you, that means a lot, you gotta find a way to keep going. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find a way to keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? And what an opportunity for us now. Like where we miss our brother, and the whole world misses him. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole world misses him, and our hearts are broken for not only the time that we're not gonna get to spend with him, but also the time that he's not gonna get to spend with other people he hadn't had a chance to meet yet, because he has such a profound effect on us. But there's a flip side to that. Like there's the gratitude that, oh my God, man, this man spent some of the last years of his life with us intentionally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he knew what he was dealing with, and still decided and chose, hey man, y'all are important enough for me to spend 12, 15, 14-hour days with, you know what I'm saying? And call you and check in on you, and let's work through this. Let's build something together. You know what I mean? Let's celebrate it together. Let's go tell the world about it together. He made that decision for us. And man, what gratitude, man. What gratitude that we got to be around greatness like that, unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? And then you say, well, shit, we got to pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? For him, you know what I'm saying? If he could be sick and come to work and do great work, man, we can work through this grief and make something great for people and give it to people. You know what I mean? To echo echo out the ripples that he laid down. So that was what it was. That was what it was, man. That was kind of how we moved through it. Some days we were really sad, some days we were really happy, and last night at the premiere it was bittersweet isn't the word, man. It was like a full cup of life. You know what I'm saying? It was like a full cup of life because he wasn't there physically, but man, he was there. You know what I'm saying? And I missed him being there in the physical because nobody did a premiere like Chad. You know what I'm saying? Like he always did something surprising. He always did something he didn't tell anybody about. You know what I'm saying? He always popped up somehow wearing something you didn't expect him to wear, or doing something, so I did miss that. It did feel slightly more boring, you know what I mean, than if he would have been there. But man, I appreciated him being there spiritually, man. I felt him, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt him in every smile and every garment people wore, you know what I'm saying? And every time I hear a drum somewhere, you know what I'm saying, I felt him, you know what I'm saying? And when we hit play on that thing, no doubt about him being there with us.
Yeah. You know, I also think a lot about how how much the film kind of meant to I always say like young black boys and young black girls, but also just like the black people period, the first film. It was truly this culture shifting thing. And I think there was a huge opportunity here that, made Namor connect to Latinx and Indigenous communities and have that representation as well. And I want to know, could you walk me through that kind of process and decision to develop Namor like this and to also have this backdrop of a historic Mesoamerican culture to, connect to Wakanda as well?
It's a great question. In my research for the first film, it dealt with colonization pretty head on, and you kind of have to when you making a Black Panther movie in this day and age.
Yeah.
Because I think that the world is reckoning with the idea of colonization and
Sure.
and its effects and what it means and the concept of can it be repaired? You know what I mean? Can this be undone? Like how do you do it? And I think that the recontextualizing that of T'Challa and Wakanda that was done in the comic books, after the original, run, it was like, man, look at this African prince who's rich and smart and can fight, and you know what I mean, and is amazing enough to trick the Fantastic Four and capture him. That I thought it was the novelty of it. But as those books got deeper, and they started to add black writers, like Christopher Priest and Reggie Hudlin, this concept of Wakanda as being this place that hadn't been colonized, that had managed to escape this thing that washed over the continent like a flood. You know what I'm saying? That became very integral to who T'Challa was, who Wakanda was. And so, we did a deep dive study on colonization and cultures that managed to avoid it and escape it for extended periods of time. And in that, you can look at specific African cultures, but you also gotta look at cultures in that are here in the North and South America. You have to, and you see these parallels. And as a black man from California, I understand that juxtaposition very well. I grew up on streets in cities that had Spanish names, and grew up in the East Bay Area where the African American community and the Indigenous community are very close knit. You know what I'm saying? Like we very tight, and our culture crosses over, and that like we they're our family. Like what I'm saying? Like literally, like they are our street family, but also like our family. Like I got Mexican cousins and aunties and Puerto Rican cousins and aunties and you know what I mean? And so I think that side of it was kind of always in my mind, you know what I'm saying, as a creator, as a viewer, and when it was time to open it up, if we're gonna bring Marvel Comics Atlantis to our world, and we had this opportunity you know, it still had to be a Black Panther movie, you know, and we had to do it in a way that made sense. And also we had to do it in a way that made sense with the zeitgeist, you know, because you have a lot of representations of that Greco-Roman concept of Atlantis in media. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we want to be respectful of the audiences. We don't want to give them the same thing cooked a little different. It's like, all right, man, how do we give them something that's completely unique, that's completely bespoke to our film, you know, while honoring all of the things that made these characters in these books great. So that was kind of our charge, and that was how we arrived on an indigenous North American culture, indigenous Mesoamerican culture. And once we kind of, you know, made that decision, it started to really gain some creative momentum. It started to make a lot of sense. That was when, you know, that was what led to the casting of Tenoch Huerta Milla and Maybelle Cardona and Alex Livinalli and you know, it was really satisfying. Also, although you know, we did feel a lot of weight to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is a good thing, because that was what that was what we had on us with the first film. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, that's all of my time, but I thank you so much for chatting with me. And I can't wait to see this film again and discuss it with so many more people.
Uh-huh.
And congrats again on the launch of this and enjoy the rest of your day.
Right on. Take care, Trey.